The sun hadn't just risen over the Cretaceous canopy. It had exploded, a terrifyingly bright ball of fire that made Bumpy's scales itch. His stomach, usually a cavern of happy, rumbling hunger, was a pit of squirming, winged things. It was his first day. "Remember," his mother said, nuzzling his frill with her massive, gentle head. "Deep breaths. You are an Ankylosaurus. You have a club tail that can shatter trees. You are braver than you feel." Bumpy tried a deep breath. It came out as a squeak. The school clearing was a riot of noise and movement, a terrifying ecosystem all its own. A flock of tiny, feathered compsognathous children zipped past his feet like manic, chirping rocks, making him stumble. High in the trees, a class of pterodactylus students practiced landing, their screeches piercing his eardrums. His first class was herbivore harmony with Mrs. Brachiosaurus. Her head, when she stretched to its full height, vanished into the low clouds. Bumpy found a spot at the back, hoping to be a quiet, rocky lump. "Today," Mrs. Brachiosaurus boomed pleasantly, "we will be identifying the 5 most nutritious ferns. Please take out your tasting notebooks." Bumpy's heart sank. In his panic, he'd forgotten his notebook and his fern sample bundle. He was just a giant, empty-clawed failure. A snicker came from beside him. A trio of Triceratops calves were looking him over, their frills twitching with amusement. "Forgot your lunch and your notes," the biggest one muttered. "Smooth move, tank feet." Bumpy felt his face grow hot. He shrunk down, making himself as small as an 8-ton dinosaur could possibly make himself. Lunch was worse. The feeding grounds were a social minefield. The hadrosaurs ate in a noisy, singing huddle. The stegosaurs formed a quiet, spiky circle. Bumpy tried to amble over to a lone cycad tree, but his clumsy, club tail swung a little too wide and sent a pile of gourds flying, splattering a group of Parasaurolophus girls with sticky juice. They shrieked in outrage. Bumpy wished a convenient meteor would just take him away. The afternoon brought the worst class of all, Predator Evasion with Mr. Raptor. Mr. Raptor was sleek, fast, and had eyes that missed nothing. "Today," he said, his voice a low, dangerous hiss, "we practiced the freeze and blend. The key's absolute stillness. The slightest twitch, the tiniest sniffle, and your lunch." Bumpy's nose chose that exact moment to itch. A giant, pollen-filled flower was right under his snout. He held his breath. He clenched every muscle. He focused on being a rock, a hill, a lifeless lump of prehistoric concrete. But the itch was a tiny, determined predator of its own. It grew and grew. His snout wiggled. A tiny, desperate squeak of a sneeze built in his nostrils. The Triceratops trio from earlier were nearby. They saw his distress. They exchanged a look. Bumpy braced for more teasing, but the big one gave a tiny, almost imperceptible shake of his head. His eyes weren't mean anymore. They were wide with shared panic. "Don't do it!" They seemed to scream. It was the solidarity of potential prey. It was too late. Choo! The sneeze was not a squeak. It was a seismic event. It erupted from Bumpy with the force of a volcanic blast, shaking the leaves from the trees and sending the unfortunate flower exploding into a cloud of pollen. The entire class jumped. Mr. Raptor pinched the bridge of his snout. "Ankylosaurus," he sighed, the sound like gravel sliding. "A for effort, F for execution. See me after class." The final bell, a giant wasp hitting a hollow log, finally rang. Bumpy trudged toward the forest path, his club tail dragging in the dirt. He had been laughed at. He was sticky with gourd juice. He had failed evasion, and he was sure Mr. Raptor was going to tell his mother he was a hopeless case. "Hey, tank feet!" Bumpy winced. It was the Triceratops trio. He prepared for the worst. The big one stepped forward. "That sneeze," he said, his voice filled with something like awe, "that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. You blew Mr. Raptor's crest right back." One of the others nodded. "And when you took out those gourds at lunch, hilarious. Stinky, but hilarious. We're going to practice the freeze and blend tomorrow before class, the third one said. You should come. We could use a distraction, like a really big, loud distraction. Bumpy stared. They weren't teasing him. They were inviting him. A warmth spread through his chest, melting the icy ball of anxiety. His tail gave a little, happy swing, thumping against a nearby tree which cracked neatly down the middle. But nobody seemed to mind. On the walk home, the sun didn't seem so harsh. It was just the sun. The forest wasn't a terrifying unknown. It was just home. His mother was waiting at the edge of the clearing. How was it? She asked, her voice full of concern. Bumpy thought about the winged things in his stomach, the forgotten notebook, the flying gourds, the world-ending sneeze. He thought about the shared look of panic and the invitation to practice. He leaned into her comforting bulk. It was stressful, he said honestly. Then he gave his club tail a small, confident twitch. But tomorrow will be better. The end. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe.